Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing today? Happy New Year. We made it. Happy Monday and Happy New Year. We made it to the new year. It is 2024. And dude, that is such a trip. It is weird saying that. I don't know how many times I'm going to write down the wrong day. I feel like I was literally just getting used to writing down 2023 or 23 or whatever it was. And so, whatever you write down. But yeah, dude, it's such a trip thinking that we're going to be writing 2024 now. What a weird thing. But Happy New Year. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson. And if you're brand new to the show, what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like self-development, mental health, and how to get your life moving in the right direction. If you're not feeling good about where you are right now, then at least having the confidence knowing that you are getting, at least one step closer to the person you'd like to become and the life that you'd like to live, and doing what you want to do. And so that is what the show is about. If you're not new to this show, then thank you for coming back and supporting the cause, supporting the journey, and supporting the idea of making yourself a little bit better every single day, and along the way, lifting other people up as well. And so regardless of if you're brand new to this show or not, I just want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for being here, and you are the reason that I do what I do. So let's rock and roll. Welcome to the new year, guys. I'm still adjusting to it being the new year as well, but kind of at the end of the day, it's just another day. It's just another day of life. And so that being said, I know that the New Year's is kind of a time for a lot of people that, start to set goals or resolutions for themselves, or start to think about what are the things that they want to achieve over the next 12 months, over the next year. And I 100% agree. I think that not just New Year's, I think that it's always a good time to always be assessing what you want your future to look like, and how you feel about your current life, and how you feel about every little aspect of your life, whether that's your relationships, your fitness, your mental health, your finances, everything like that. Like, there should always be a consistent check-in with yourself of, how am I doing, and how do I want to be doing in the future? Like, what can I do right now to make my future a little bit better? And I think that New Year's is a perfect time to do that. I don't think that there's really a bad time to do that. I think that that's kind of what you should be consistently doing throughout your entire life. I think that that's one of the most important reasons why you should be journaling and why you should be writing these things down. And I'm a big proponent of journaling, like pen to paper, just writing every single day, whether it's writing to-do lists and grocery lists. Sometimes that could be it, or sometimes you want to analyze a certain area in your life, or sometimes you just want to have a refresh button on, what you'd like your life to be like and how you can kind of start to navigate your way there. And I think that a lot of the time, we have these kind of times in our lives, whether it's like a midlife crisis or a New Year's resolution, but we have these times where we have this immense amount of inspiration and motivation, and we're like, this is the new beginning, this is the new me. And then after 2 weeks, if that, then we're already back to doing whatever we were doing beforehand. And I think that, I've talked recently about hitting rock bottoms, and how, a rock bottom can be a pivotal moment for a lot of people in our lives, but, you don't always have to hit a rock bottom. I just talked about that in a recent episode. And I think that one of the things that you can do to help avoid hitting that rock bottom, or declining in life, or descending from where you'd like to be, or making progress in the wrong direction, one of the ways that you can avoid doing that is to imagine and visualize what it would look like when you start to slip, when you start to mess up. And so the best application for that would be, when you make your plan, when you make your idea, you make your routine or your guidelines for your life, you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do these things during the day. And then you make that routine, and you start to, live life. Then things come up, of course, car breaks down, relationship goes on the rocks, there's issues at work, you have to work overtime, your kids need your attention, you get sick, you run out of money, you can't afford to buy the groceries you normally buy, whatever problems it could be. We slowly, get off track from that original routine, that original plan that we've made for ourselves. And usually what happens is it happens by small little compromises, oh, I'll finish this later. I'll do this a little bit later. Once I finish this, then I can do that, those types of things, until our daily life does not reflect anything close to what the plan was, what our routine or a desired routine was. If you put the two things together, what you planned for and what actually happened, they look like exact polar opposites sometimes, or sometimes they might look close, but I guess you guys can visualize, or I'm sure you can empathize with this. I'm sure you've been in this position before where you're like, how did I get to this point? Like, what this was the plan and that didn't stick to it. And so one of the ways that you can avoid doing that is to visualize and imagine what it's going to look like when you start to mess up. What are the hints or clues that you can leave for yourself, so that you know that, hey, this could be a pivot point right here. This could be the point where I turn it all around. I've been, visualize the cues, the clues for yourself. And so one of the ways that I guess is the best way for me to explain this is one of the things that I've written about and journaled about for myself in regards to this is knowing that I know when the dishes in the sink start to build up, that I'm headed in a downward trajectory. When I start to go to bed and I can see the dishes in the sink, or when I wake up in the morning and I get into the kitchen to make some coffee or get a glass of water first thing in the morning, and I see a sink full of dishes, it just makes me feel like I'm living in a mess. And that's one of the first clues that I know for myself is an indicator of like, hey, you're starting to slip on the little things in life. The little things that we think are insignificant, that we think, oh, I can pass off on this, or someone else might take care of this, or I can do it later, or there's another time to do this. We find ourselves getting distracted from what we set out to be and what we plan to do with our time, or whatever it could be. And I just know for myself that that's one of the little cues, one of the little indicators I know for myself, like that's when it's starting to happen. Another thing for myself is when I start to, I look in the mirror, I start to see the abs starting to vanish behind a mischievous layer of fat. And naturally I think, something's, out to get me. Something must be off. Maybe the mirror is a little bit fucked. Maybe the lighting's a little bit bad. Maybe it's, it takes me a while to kind of actually admit, like, okay, I've been eating like shit. I've been eating these little treats and snacks a little bit more than I probably should. And, that's another huge indicator for me, is like when I start to notice my physique starting to go on a downward spiral, when I start to see the dishes in the sink starting to pile up. Another example is like the laundry building up to the point where it's like, we all know, everyone's got that chair, everyone's got that place where the laundry starts to pile up. And so, those are the kind of biggest indicators for myself, is like when I know I'm not eating the way that I should be eating. I'm not training the way I should be training. I'm not taking care of the little things around the house, like taking care of my environment. I start to see that there's a physical representation in the way that our physiques look. There's a physical representation of the way that our bodies feel. There's a physical representation of the way that our houses are either in a mess or they're tidy and they're clean. I'm not saying that you have brand new stuff, everything's mint, everything's gold, but I'm saying is there is a representation of the surroundings, the way that we treat our surroundings, the way that we think of our surroundings, the amount of gratitude that we show for our surroundings. There's a physical representation of all of those things within us. And so when you start to pass on the little things that feel insignificant, when you start to pass on the little things that, you think, oh, I can do that later, oh, I can do that tomorrow, those things trickle down into everything else that we do, and also the way that we feel about ourselves. Because if you start to just put a bunch of processed shit in your body, basically what you're telling yourself is you deserve to eat processed garbage. You don't deserve real food. When you start to live in a messy environment, you tell yourself subconsciously, what you're telling yourself is you're a slob. You deserve to live in a mess. And like I said, there's a physical representation of that within us as well. When you live in a messy place, when you treat yourself like a fucking piece of garbage, you start to have messy thoughts. You start to have garbage thoughts. You start to think negatively about yourself. You start to have a scattered brain and you can't focus because everything's a mess. And your brain is literally trying to figure out which mess it can take care of first to somehow start to feel some sort of dopamine again. And I think that we can all do ourselves a little favor and leave ourselves little clues as reminders of like, hey, if you start to see this, it's probably an issue and you should start to take care of that right now. So that's all I really wanted to say in terms of planning and visualizing for the future, to also visualize when you're going to need a contingency plan. Because I think that a lot of the times these things do creep up on us. It's completely normal and it's completely human to allow these things to slowly creep up on us. But I think it is beneficial to analyze these things and start to think about, how can I start to avoid having this creep up on me? Or how can I at least catch this little scoundrel of a bad habit of mine before it's able to cause too much damage in my life? And again, this is something that you're going to have to journal about. You're going to have to write it down. You're going to have it available to revisit, to remind yourself in the future. And I think that a lot of us, again, I'll go on this little rant right now. I think that a lot of us in the very beginning of the year, I think that we all like to get in this motivated and inspirational kind of mindset or mood. We get to, downloading more audiobooks. We get to downloading more podcasts. We're listening to the right things. We're watching the right things. We're reading the right things. We're just so focused watching YouTube videos and podcasts and clips and reading the right things. And we get so focused on learning, getting all this motivation, getting all this inspiration. We get so amped up about this, and we start to literally drink from a fire hose of information of just like, here's a bunch of motivational, inspirational things that are 100% actionable, but you're ingesting all of these things. And then, like I said earlier, we start to slip. We start to, forget about all these little things, and we never actually store them in the bank. We never actually have an actual, bank account for our thoughts. And I think that that's what journaling is a way to write down these thoughts so that when you are needing a little bit more inspiration, or you are needing a little bit more motivation, or just maybe you want to review your thoughts and remind yourself of what's important and why you're doing what you're doing. Opening up a journal and keeping a journal is like, it's like having a good financial health for your brain. It gives you a good balance of where your thoughts are at. And so if I could encourage you to do one thing at the beginning of this year and tell you that you should do it for the rest of the year every single day, it would be to journal, because it will make every single lesson that you learn more memorable. It will make it more available for you to review. And it also will give you a better, relationship with your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your own, like a reflection, a way to reflect and be mindful. And it'll help you notice little things in your life and what you're struggling with when you've done it enough times. The thing about journaling is it's really just like, it's like going to the gym. It's like many other things in life, or saving money. It's not something that you can do just once and be like, oh, I see the results, I feel way better. It's one of those things where, once you've done it for months, like maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you start to kind of think, okay, I might be seeing some result from this. But truly, if you're looking for life-changing results, when it comes to journaling, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to, making a change in your financial life, a lot of the times we see these overnight successes, or we see someone already at what we would perceive to be the finish line, and we think, a couple quick workouts, a couple quick days of saving money, a couple quick days of, journaling, and I'll just be better. I'll just instantly be better. And I think that it's important to remind ourselves that a lot of these things are marathons and not sprints. It's really about who can last the longest, who can do the thing the longest. If you're consistent in the gym, if you're consistent with your diet, if you're consistent with stretching and taking care of your body, you'll win in the long run. You'll win the long game. You'll be fit, you'll feel good, and you'll be able to do it for a long period of time later in your life. Same thing with finances. You know, if you save money and you make money and you do that for a long period of time, you're probably going to be richer than the guy that hits the jackpot one night and then blows it all the next week. Journaling is the exact same thing. Like, the longer you do it, the better you get at understanding your own thoughts and seeing your own thoughts. And that will make you more mindful throughout the day while you're not journaling, but it will also impact the way that you journal, how you journal, and the way that you review these things as well. And everyone's got their own journey and their own tactics, their own way of doing things. You know, some people just write lists and some people write stories and paragraphs. But just having that relationship with yourself is key. That's the one thing that I would encourage you to do for this year. And so on that note, I think we're about to wrap it up. It is time to get started with your day, and I hope that you're doing well. Or maybe it's time to finish your day and start to rest. But it's I want to take this time to remind you guys that during the new year here in the Vancouver area, we will be doing the mental health hikes. We'll be getting back into that. And so I wanted to encourage you guys, invite you guys, if you want to get involved, you want to just do some hikes, you want to have some good conversations with some people, be a leader, or maybe you need a leader. This is the kind of opportunity for you to get some movement in and to get a little bit of community going. And so if you're interested in doing that, please reach out to me on Instagram. It's @RisenFallen, and you can reach out to me with anything. Whether that's just like a question, comment, concern, or you want to come and get involved in the community. And if you're watching this on New Year's, or you're watching this whenever, I guess, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel, on Rumble, etc. And hope you guys are having a good day. I will check in with you guys on Thursday. I love you all. We made it. I am excited to see what we can achieve this year. Let me know what your goals are. I guess that's a cool thing that we could do. Let me know what your goals are in the comments section below. Other than that, much love. Peace out. I will check in with you guys on Thursday. Happy New Year's. Let's go, baby. Bye.